So today we're finally getting back into the fall/autumn season and I'm so excited about that. September has arrived and with it comes a sense of rebirth and fresh starts. At least for me it does, and I think that's because the school year always started in September and not in January when the new year actually starts. Plus September kicks off cozy season with its rainy days and with crisp trees turning beautiful hues of yellows and reds and browns and golden. Rainy days in and sunny days exploring in the forest and toadstools everywhere, and the smells are amazing, and I for one am definitely ready for it. Plus the fall-time fashion is top notch. So with the fall for me usually also comes the feeling to better my life, and one of the goals for me for this year is to read more, way more. I want to read so many more books. So normally I only read about 2 books a month, and my delusional motivated self is like, sure, yeah, 2 books a week will be easy for me. I can definitely do that. So this year I decided to tackle that goal, and I have actually set myself a TBR for 8 books this month. So that way I would have to read 2 books a week, and I would also have a few days, I think 3 days, as a sort of buffer. So if I don't finish 2 books a week, I still have a few days left in the month to actually finish my TBR. But I am a mood reader and I have never actually set a TBR before, so I thought it would be a good plan, the best course of action, to think of a theme that encompasses the mood of September. And what is September if it's not dark academia, right? So that's the theme for this month, and I kept that in mind when picking the books that are on my TBR. So with that, let's get into the books that I picked for the month of September. So I've got my little stack of books right behind me here, right next to the toadstools over there. And the first book I put into my TBR is a kind of cozy fantasy, academic rivals to lovers, romance novel. And it is this one, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This story follows Emily Wilde, who is a folklore researcher. She's at the top of her field and she's making the first ever encyclopedia of fairies. And to finish her work, she has to move to this small little town to investigate this very specific, elusive type of fairies. And who else but her academic rival is also residing there. And they describe Emily as being pretty bad with people, while her academic rival is actually very charismatic. And on top of that, he seems to be hiding a secret. So this book sounds very fun and quite unique actually, and very interesting, and I cannot wait to get into it. And I'm also hoping for a rainy day soon, so the vibes can be immaculate when I get into this one. So the next book I put on this month's TBR is more of a mystery kind of heist book, I believe. And it's called The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. So this is about a secret library that collects texts, but not only from this world, but also from alternate universes. And to do this, they enlist professional spies. So in this book we follow one of those spies who is searching for a particularly dangerous book in an alternate universe London, together with her assistant. Now, why is this book particularly dangerous? I have no clue, but I'm very curious to find out. And the blurb also mentions that there's monsters in this alternate universe London, and it just sounds like a really fun book to read in the fall. It sounds like perfect fall vibes. Did you hear that? It's thunder. Perfect timing. A fall storm. And the library arc just sounds really interesting to me, and I'm very excited to get into this one. And next on the list is another book involving a library, and that one is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, which is a relatively new release. This book came out in the beginning of May of this year. This book came out in May of this year, and it's the cover that really drew me in. And then I read the back and I was immediately sold. So it says, "The greatest story can reach the stars. Ivar has lived his whole life trapped within a vast library, older than empires and larger than cities. Livera has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never noticed them. That is about to change. And I don't need to know anything else. I don't want to know anything else. I just want to dive into this and find out what it's about." So all the books that I've mentioned so far are firsts into series, which I didn't know when I bought them nor when I picked them out, but they are, so do with that what you will. I usually like to get into series once there's at least 3 books in the series. I like it when I can just binge the whole series if I want to, but I couldn't do that with these, though I believe that the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies is already out, so I could continue in that series if I really feel a need to. So anyway, for the next book I chose, I wanted to get something light and airy, something easy to get into. So I thought that a basic, reliable, fun and flirty romance would be just the thing. But I also wanted it to fit the theme, of course. And this next author writes a lot of books that are set in the academic world, which she herself is a part of. And I've never read any of her books, but I hear a lot of good things about them. And people love them. And so the book I chose is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. And this is, I believe, an academical rivals to lovers plot again, but it's also a fake dating plot. And from what I gather, our protagonist is trying to prove that true love does not exist. And I suspect that she'll be proving herself wrong by the end of this book. I'm very eager to read this author's work and see what all the hype is about, and hopefully find a new favorite writer. Now, moving right along to the next book, which you probably have heard about because it was hyped up a lot recently, mainly on TikTok. And of course, I'm talking about The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So I picked this book for the Dark Academia theme because, as I understand it, this is about a school of some sort, and it features one of my favorite mythical creatures, which is the dragon. And I feel like dragons aren't featured all that much in fiction. At least I don't know of many books that have dragons. So if you know of any, please recommend them down below. This is another book that I don't know too much about because I like to be as minimally spoiled as possible. But I know that it's about people that are going to school to train to become a dragon rider. And basically, if you fail, you die. So that sounds fun. And I want to join the hype train. I've been feeling a little left out of that. But this is also the first in a series, so that makes 4 of those already. And I'm just hoping that I don't get too frustrated with all the cliffhangers that are coming up. But hopefully the rest of my TBR and my upcoming TBRs will keep me occupied. But the next one is also the first in a series. And the second one of this series has already been published, so that's a plus. But the last one is set to come out in the summer of 2024. So that will be a long wait, but not as long as the rest of these series probably. But my next book on my September TBR is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. And in this book we get an account of the Trojan War, but through the eyes of Briseis, who is a woman that has been captured by the Greek army and kept as a sex slave basically. So she will be owned by Achilles. And a while back I read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and I really enjoyed that story. And in that book you also get an account of the Trojan War, but through the eyes of Achilles' lover, Patroclus. So it would be very interesting to get another point of view to the same story, especially because this one is through the eyes of a woman instead of a man, which is a viewpoint that doesn't get talked about a lot when it comes to war stories. So I am quite excited for this one as well. And I also picked that one because of its intellectual subject, which fits in nicely with the Dark Academia theme. And in that same vein of thought I should pick out a classic to read this month as well. And this particular one has been on my TBR for quite some time, which is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. And this is described to be a parody of Gothic novels of the time, which sounded perfect for September, perfect for the theme, and perfect for fall. Which sounded perfect for September, perfect for fall, perfect for the theme, so that's why I picked this one. In this story we follow a young woman, a young girl, I believe she's 15 or 16 or something, and she's been invited to spend the summer in Bath with a befriended family, and there she imagines herself to be inside of one of her beloved mystery thriller books. So this really sounds like a bit of fun. And I've read Pride and Prejudice and I've read Emma by Jane Austen. and I enjoyed them both a lot. So in my opinion, Jane Austen is a really easy author to read classics wise, and simultaneously you look very smart and cultured when you're reading this, so two birds in one stone. So lastly, I had to get a little creative with the theme because I wanted to pick books from my physical TBR and not buy too many books. I only bought 2 books for September, and the rest I already had in my bookcase. So I bought this one a while back when it was pretty hyped on TikTok as well. I've seen quite a few people talk about this book, and I'm talking about The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. And this one is about a society where women are ostracized, women are seen as inherently immoral. They are seductive and conniving in the sense that they will try to steal your husband. So when girls turn 16, they are sent off to get cleansed of their evil womanhood, and in that way get ready to get married. And nobody is really talking about what happens during the grace year, and some girls do not return after their grace year. And in this book we follow a girl that is about to be sent off to her grace year. And this book is described as being depressing and dark but beautiful at the same time, and that's right up my alley. I really love that sort of books. And it sounds like there's a really interesting discussion about sexism in this book as well. So very excited for this one as well. So to wrap up, I picked 8 books that I'm really excited to read. I'm really itching to get into them and to read those books, which should really help me to finish all of these books this month and reach my goal. And on top of that, I will be doing some challenges to finish all the books that I picked for my TBR this month. And you can also expect some spoiler-free reading vlogs from me on this channel this month. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe and like this video if you like. Please comment down below any book recommendations you have for me, and I would really like to know what you guys are reading in September. And please comment down below what you're looking forward to most in this upcoming fall season. That's all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!